every step is a challenge. It's just, we have to get used to having challenges and just overcome them step by step. I guess there are a lot that you have to give up. Me personally, I guess my personal life, especially with my partner, I was working all the time and I didn't have any time to dedicate to other things. I had to work 2 jobs and then study my master's and at the same time work on this. There are lots of entrepreneurs here that I'm in contact with. They are so young and so inspiring, to see that how confident they are and how serious they are to pursue their passion. We all say mindfulness, meditation is good. We all know that. But if you find the right way for yourself, like how to ground yourself, I guess that was what really helped me.
Hi, Negin. Thank you so much for coming to the Immiprenuer Podcast. I'm so excited to hear all about your journey. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mo. I'm very pleased to be here. Thanks for having me.
So let's jump right into it. My first set of questions is about your background and education and experience. So the immigrant entrepreneurs in our audience can understand who you are, where you're coming from, and how you got started. Then we'll jump into your thoughts about what you would do if you had to start all over again when it comes to starting a business in Canada. So our audience understand how they can apply what you've learned to their situation in today's world. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of background, experience, and education, where you come from, and when did you come to Canada?
Yeah, sure. I'll start by my high school background. So I studied mathematics and physics in high school. And while I was studying, I started to work on robotics. So I was in 2D soccer simulation league in RoboCop competitions. So I started when I was 15, so first year of high school, and then we were and then a team of 4 female students. And then we started working on our team in the 2D soccer simulation. It was basically the simulation part, so it was more coding. And then we got into competitions. We won national and international competitions. We went to RoboCup World Championships in Singapore. And we placed first in Iran Open, one of the biggest competitions of RoboCop in Iran in 2010. So we were basically 3rd year of high school. It was very inspiring for us to continue, especially as women, where most of our competitors were men. Well, at that time, it wasn't an issue for us. And we didn't think of ourselves as different than others, but so we got that. And then for university, I started studying electrical engineering for my bachelor. And then I started teaching robotics to high school students as well. So that's in terms of my experience there. Then I applied for computer science here in Canada. And I came here in March 2018, and I started my studies on master's in computer science on a thesis base.
What a great
program.
Yeah. So so you basically came to Canada 3 years ago.
Exactly.
Impressive.
Thank you.
Could you tell us about your company, FemTherapeutics?
FemTherapeutics.
FemTherapeutics, and how did you get started?
Yes, for sure. So I start with what we do right now, and then I'll jump into how we all started this. So in FemTherapeutics, we are trying to customize pelvic medicine for women. So what we do is that we want to tackle a problem that people will have usually, like women will have usually after vaginal delivery, so natural childbirth. But it can also be caused by natural aging process. So pelvic organ prolapse is a condition that 1 in every 10 women around the world on average will suffer from, and it's the descent of the pelvic organs such as bladder, uterus, or rectum down the vaginal canal, which can be very uncomfortable. Currently, there are two solutions for that. So people with this condition may decide to go for a surgery, for a reconstructive surgery, which has its own complications and then has 30% risk of reoperation, beside all the complications and the expense. The second option for them is a non-invasive solution. So it's an intravaginal device called pessary that can be inserted through the vaginal canal to hold the pelvic organs in place. But the current pessaries, the conventional pessaries, are very symmetric and geometric, and they don't fit the natural, unique anatomy of each woman. So what happens is that they fail in 40% of the time, so they displace easily. They fall out while the patients are doing their regular daily life. So when they cough, they fall out. When they go using a bathroom, they might fall out, and they might, in some cases, cause irritation and bleeding. So their size and shapes are not really proper fit to each patient's unique anatomy. So what FemTherapeutics is doing is that they're customizing these pessaries based on each patient's unique anatomical characteristics. And how we started all of this, because it's, I guess it's a very niche problem. So there's a program called Surgical Innovation, which is funded by NSERC Canada. It's hosted by McGill University Department of Experimental Surgery, and it's among 3 universities. So McGill University, Concordia University, and ETS University, and I'm coming from the Concordia side. So it's a very interesting program. They bring expertise together, so business people, technical people, and medical people, and then they provide this environment for you to go and observe the needs that exist in the surgical environment. For example, you can go observe the emergency room, hospital environments, and more specifically, the surgical procedures. And you'll have different like teams that you do the while you're doing this. We were in gynecology team, so we were observing the operating rooms for in gynecological areas. So we came up with 5 ideas, and we understood how women's health was very neglected, and unfortunately the technology wasn't that much developed in this section as much as the other areas. So we came up with 5 needs, and then this program helped us to narrow it down to 1, and we understood that this is a very common condition that women have, but there's no permanent solution that works for everybody, and it's not really comfortable for patients to go. And most of the patients will, at the end up going to the surgery because they're not really comfortable using these pessaries, and also they have to remove them, wash them, and reinsert them bi-weekly to like once per month. And it's it's not really mentally comfortable for them, and it really impacts their quality of life. And that's why we decided to work on this problem and solve this issue. And personally for me, I think I was really lucky to get into this program, because myself, I was really interested in medicine, in the field of medicine in general, but my background is all in technology, and I really wanted to go into technology, and there wasn't a time I could join them together. And this opportunity really gave me this like ability, so I could join the medical part and technology together and solve a real world problem. I'm really grateful for that.
Yes. It was a quiet journey. What challenges did you face early on when you started your company in Canada?
Yeah, so during this program, we weren't going to start a company. Also, we were a bunch of students that was working on a project, trying to make a prototype for the solution that we were offering. And then suddenly the mentors that we had saw the potential of this unmet need. And then they lead us into making a company out of it. So at first we were 7 people, but people had different priorities. So bringing people to start really a company here, that was the first challenge we had, because people were not committed to do this. I personally really loved this. But then I like, we could persuade people to stay in from 7. We could convince 4 people to stay and continue to the company. So that was the first challenge, but from then onwards, it was all challenges that we had to overcome. So every step is a challenge. It's just, we have to get used to having challenges and just overcome them step by step. For example, after that, we didn't have any money to start with. We didn't have the complete technical team for doing that, or the medical background. So that was the next challenge, and without that, we couldn't drive the company. And after that, financial problems.
Bootstrapping, or did you get funding from any other organization?
Yeah, so we really needed the funding, especially for the patenting part, because in medical area, if you don't have the patent, then you don't have anything. Basically, you have to patent your idea, and it's very expensive. So what happened was that we started by going into competitions, participating in different competitions. And then the first one was McGill Dobson Cup, actually. We did this while we were in the program of surgical innovation. And then what really drove us and made us inspired more than before was that we won second place in that competition, and we won like $12,000 in our first try. So it was very inspiring for us. And it was like a motive, and it's like a driving motive and energy for us to go forward. And then from then on, we started to go into other competitions, apply for government funding, and that's how we're alive till today.
Nice. You recently won a prestigious entrepreneur award from
MyTech.
What did you give up for achieving this level of success?
Well, I guess that's a big part. So the giving up, I guess if you talk to any entrepreneur, she will say the same thing. I guess there are a lot that you have to give up. Me personally, I guess my personal life, especially with my partner, like I was working all the time, and I didn't have any time to dedicate to other things. Leisure time with my friends, they were always angry at me that I'm not there with them. Yeah, that I'm not there with them, and I just have to, kind of say
that have a very big passion, and vision. You definitely actually miss some of the parts in your life to achieve that goal.
Absolutely, that's completely true. Well, I admit that I lost moments that are not coming back for sure. Yeah. Like I also learned that you really have to also live in the moment while you're working hard. You might take some time for yourself and your life, your friends, to kind of balance your work and life. But I really enjoyed working on my startup because it was my passion, right? Definitely. So so there's no regret of that. Like I gave up my sleep time, my study time,
no regret at all.
No, not on that part. Yeah. And my partner actually really played a role, a big huge role in this, because when we first came into Canada, we didn't have lots of money, and while I had funding for my research and studies, it was not enough to support both of us in life, or even the tuition for the university. So I had to work 2 jobs, and then study my master's, and at the same time work on this. So I didn't really have time to work on anything. with full powers because I was working in 2 places. And what happened was that my partner came in and said, if you really want to work on your passion, let's do it, and we'll sort things out. And that really also helped me to,
your partner.
My energy. Yeah.
If you were to start another business, what might it be and why?
Yeah. So I can tell you, I have a notebook of all my ideas that I think will really help people in some sort of ways. I guess, and with the knowledge that I have and how to address that problem, to validate the ideas, I write the ones that I think are more feasible. But I think the next startup I'll have will be the other women health needs that we found out during the program. Probably I'll start with those other 4 and then go to the other ideas that I have in the notebook.
We didn't sign any non-disclosure agreement.
So try not to disclose. Yeah, I won't.
Exactly. So did you have any mentors or did you have to figure it all out on your own?
So it had different aspects, right? So when we started, we were lucky to have all of the mentors that we have. We did have some mentors, especially during the program. We had business mentors that were helping us to understand and validate the need that we're finding. We had patent lawyers helping us to patent. But on the technical side, we had some help, but we really didn't have that technical need that we had. So I was on my own in the whole team. That was trying to figure out how to do all these technical work. And we started with a medical measuring device at first. So I didn't really know how to make it happen, right? And I guess figuring out what exactly we want and what components need to be there actually took about a year for us after we started the company. At first, we thought that we know what we're doing, where we're going, and we tried to figure out, have some prototypes and proof of concepts of our ideas. But then in order to bring it really into the real world, we didn't know how to do it. And it, as I say, it did a lot of it took a lot of effort for us and
sacrifices,
participating in different mentors programs, accelerations, in order to bring us the expertise that we wanted and the ideas that we had to work and like how to make them really happen in the real world.
Who do you look to for advice or mentorship?
Right now?
Yeah.
So right now we are in Suntech propulsion program. So Suntech is an incubator here in Montreal. They have a 3 months of acceleration. The companies go through them, and then after they're done and their ideas are validated, they'll be judged by a team of the referees. And then if you get accepted, you'll have 2 years of services available to you, which is called propulsion. So you have access to entrepreneurs in residence. You have access to all these legal services with a discounted rate. You'll have access to an office space and so on. So currently our mentors are there. So we are working with Stephen Arliss. He's the main advisor of our team and also our clinical supervisor. So we validate all the medical ideas and all the ideas we have in the design part and product development with him. His name is Dr. Gangle. So he's a urogynecologist here in Montreal who is practicing in Notre Dame Hospital.
Thank you so much. In what ways are you supporting other women entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I try to do that as much as possible. So I can say that I really, first of all, I really encourage women around me to consider entrepreneurship as a path to go. Because usually especially when you're an immigrant, the good part of that is that I guess when you immigrate, you are a person who is willing to take risks.
Yeah.
That is the base of doing something like creating your own business. So that stuff is good for all immigrants, I guess. But the other part is that usually women are not, confident enough or believe in themselves enough that they can start their own businesses, especially when they are in a new environment, right? Like we as an immigrant. The first, when I started this program, I was not really familiar with the medical terms at all. I was hearing lots and lots of them, and I was like, okay, what am I doing here? Should I just give up? Should I stop this? Or should I continue? Is it really for me or it's not? Am I an outsider? Can I blend in finally or not? So that's hard, especially for women who are coming from outside of Canada. But I encourage them that it's possible and it will happen if you put all like the efforts that is needed. So first, I encourage them, and I try to, when people are talking to me, I try to just share my experience. It's not a lot, but as much as I can. But I really learn from other women entrepreneurs. Like there are lots of entrepreneurs here that I'm in contact with. They are so young and but so inspiring. Like to see that how confident they are and how serious they are to pursue their passion and really do what they want despite of all these barriers and roadblocks that they face. And I'm also really grateful for having them in my life.
Thank you so much. According to Stats Canada, mental health of immigrants has worsened since the implementation of physical distancing. And I think this is a very important topic at the moment. Do you have any recommendations or suggestions to help immigrants dealing with mental health issues?
I really guess that's very important because I saw it like personally. I saw it with my teammates. I saw it with my fellow teams, other teams that I'm working with. Like besides that, pandemic had lots and lots of influence on their businesses, like themselves. This huge mental impact really happened, and they were not really able to continue working as much as they did. And I guess that was a real issue. And unfortunately, we even lost like someone in our business. Like she had to step down because of all these life work balances and all this mental pressure. I guess one thing that really helped us, and I think if people can gather and talk about their problems, what happened was that like Samtech started some sessions for us where the co-founders were coming and talk about their frustrations and how hard it is to cope with these problems, especially in the pandemic. And they are missing each other. They are missing their families. They are missing even their, because you replace your friends when you're coming to another country. So you try to make new friends. You try to make new family, right? And then when you are apart from them as well, you find yourself alone, missing everything and everyone that you have in your life. So just having some people to talk about these things where you're not judged based on your frustrations, I guess that was what really helped at least my colleagues to cope with this very hard situation.
Definitely. How do you personally handle frustrations or stress in your life?
Yeah, so I'm personally a perfectionist, which is so bad. Like I understand that I figure that it's really bad for my personal life. So I started working on myself. I wasn't able to focus that much. I wanted to work and I wanted to do everything at the same time. So what really helped me was I was advised to do some mindfulness like exercises. I couldn't, but after some time I found out that there are different and multiple ways to do this. So I tried to find what was the best for me, so it really, we all say mindfulness, meditation is good. We all know that. But if you find the right way for yourself, like how to ground yourself, I guess that was what really helped me. And also I started going to therapy sessions. Like people usually think they have this, cliches and stigma around like therapy is not for everyone. Like if you don't have a problem, you shouldn't go to therapy. But I guess these sessions really, really helped me because especially in pandemic, there is someone that is not judging you and you can talk to openly. And I guess these two were what really, kept me sane during this hard time.
Thanks for sharing that, Negin. Who is your greatest support when facing up hardship in business?
Definitely my colleagues and my team. We have a very supportive team, and like my co-founders are very supportive. We have trust in each other, and then our team. Actually, that happens. That most of us are immigrants. Most of us are coming from Iran. I don't know what, because the co-founders, we are very diverse. So one of us is coming from Mexico. One of us is coming from originally from Pakistan, and then she's born and raised in here. And then two of us are from Iran. It's like we're very diverse, but our the technical team are mostly Iranians, and then we have a person from India. So we're very diverse and we're very supportive of each other, which is very nice environment to be. And if there is a problem, if there is a roadblock, for example, we understand that our competitors are doing something that we are also working on. It's like all these frustrations, you suddenly see that you will not reach the goal and what you wanted. For example, you put a deadline and then you find yourself not meeting that and losing whatever you were trying to achieve. And that will be very frustrating, especially for a startup that doesn't have that much resource to put in. Then you bump into these roadblocks. It's very hard. And I'm really grateful to have this team. I really want to thank them for being there for us, for each other, and support each other. We try to figure out new ways to go around these problems all together.
Well, let's give a shout out to your team.
Yeah. Yes, I'm very grateful for having them. And yeah.
Perfect. Have you ever felt that you are not accepted because of your background, nationality, or skin color?
Well, it's well, the thing is that so in Iran, most of the people are with brown eyes, with darker skin than me. So in terms of how I look like, people really don't can't figure that I'm from Iran because I have like a green eye.
Definitely, yes.
But when you start,
do you think that's an advantage for you?
No, actually I wanted to go to that, but I'm still an outsider, right? Like I'm not a Canadian person, but I mean when you start talking and there is the accent, there is all other things that people might they'll understand that you're not from here. So fortunately, in my experience, people were very supportive. Nice. But they, at the end of the day, they prefer to have but that's the sense that I had. I think they really prefer to be pitched by a native person, or they they are sure that the person that they're talking to really understand what they mean. Really, I guess they really think that there will be a language barrier somewhere in the road. But I was really lucky not to be judged. by my skin color or by my, background of so far.
What a powerful journey, Negin. Thank you so much for sharing that. Let's switch
Thank
gears
you.
a bit now and move to the present, where our audience of immigrant entrepreneurs want to get the kind of results you've achieved. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions about what you would do if you had to start all over again right now from scratch and strive to duplicate your past results. If you had to start all over again with your current knowledge and experience in today's world, with today's tools, time constraints, and other factors, what would you do differently?
I guess, so one of the most important things in our team was that we were brought out to each other from nowhere. So we didn't know each other, right? So if I want to start something, maybe I start with people that I know, and I know their expertise. I know, because you and your co-founders have to have the same value, right? If you have not exactly the same in terms of the company though, like you have to pursue similar values for the company. And this will prevent the conflict from happening, or not from happening, because there are always conflicts, but it will help you to resolve this conflict in a better manner. So I guess it took us some time to balance everything and put everyone on the same page. That was somehow time consuming, but I'm really grateful that we are coming from different backgrounds. So when we have the conflict, there's no, personal issues that are happening. But if I had to start all over again, this journey with the same team, with things like that, I think we would start, because as I told you, we were 7 and we were then down to 4 people. So we had this team issue, like lots and lots of the time. We had these problems together, and then bringing everyone to the same page. We were we scared of letting people go, because we fear that we will lose the expertise and we cannot replace that. So we were, grabbing them. We didn't want to let them go, but I guess we had to let them go sooner. And it's not a game. It's not a way that you have to be nice in all the ways. It's a business. So if you want the business to be to drive, you have to have the energy and the mindset of keeping the expertise you need, giving them the vision, and just try to work, So there's no room for really being sensitive to, and you shouldn't be scared at all, like letting people go. That was one. The other thing, I guess it was that I thought that I had to figure everything like all on my own, and I had to know what exactly I have to do and then start doing it. Yeah. But through the way I understood and I realized that what we're missing is seeking help and bringing all expertise on board, even for a short time, even if they come and go, just learn from them, and I would have, start sooner doing this and talking to technical people, even if they're just students, right? Like they're not technical experts that lead you, but all the people have these precious ideas. They are innovative, they're creative, and you can use this power. I guess I would have done this sooner.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
How many hours a day do you work right now, and what motivates you?
Okay, so the thing is that right now, on average, I can say 6 to 7 hours per day. But it's not per day actually, because it's like on weekends and then at night, because you will be reached by different people. You have to have all these like meetings, and then you do the meetings in the morning, and then there's a problem at night. You have to be synced with everyone. So,
could you describe your typical day for us?
Yeah. So when I wake up, First of all, I definitely have some breakfast because without that, I can even.
How about coffee?
Yeah.
For your coffee.
Yeah, tell me about it. Well, I just have one coffee though, because it affects my heartbeat. I'm very sad to have that because I have to have something to drive me throughout the day, but it has some negative effects on my heart. My heartbeat really increases, and I'm like, oh no, I need something to wake me up. So
You
I
have
have my
enough
coffee.
energy already. You don't need more energy.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I'm like energized, but yeah, that's a plus side of me personally.
Okay, so after breakfast, what did you do?
Yeah. So what I do is that I write down, like, I'm very attached to my to-do list. Without that, I guess I don't have anything. Like, I can't be on schedule. I can't do anything. So I write down even very small thing, like talking to some person. I write it down. So it helps me take it off on my mind, and I'm sure that I have it there and I will do it,
Nice.
and then I put like times for that, then I will do them, and like at what time, what after what. And then it helps my mind. It makes my mind at peace. So
Program your mind, yeah, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it helps me that I will rest assured that there is a plan that I'm pursuing. So whatever comes like out of blue, I can just put it in my schedule, and there's a schedule that I'm following. So I start by like checking my emails like every day, because that's where you got all these meetings and everything. Go through the meetings, like pinging everyone on the team on FemTherapeutics what they have to do today. So we have a stand up also with the technical team every day at 12 o'clock. So we have this 15 to 20 minutes to check on each other and see how things are going. Again, rearrange the plan if it's needed, setting up the goals, going through the vision we have, and trying to be on track, as well as the business people. So I'm just so our form of communications are on Slack. So we just message each other to update each other. If we have a meeting, we just remind each other, just to be on track.
Thank you so much. What meetups, local entrepreneur events, and accelerators do you recommend that have helped you grow?
Yeah, actually, that was all that helped us grow, right? Especially on the financial side. We didn't want to give up equity. So we didn't have any deal with venture capitalists or like a round of fundraising with angel investors or venture capitalists. So we started with these companies. So those are what helped us through these 2 years. So first of all, Dustin Cup competitions, which was held by McGill and a national bank, which really helped us incorporating our company. So they were paying for incorporation, and then we won in terms of the money. It really helped us as well. And then we won the third place in Dobson Practicum, which was held by Concordia. Then McGill Clinical Innovation. I really suggest that for people who are in the medtech section. So bioscience or medical like applications, they one of the team members should be in McGill, but that's a very nice competition because they will offer also 2 years of office space services, which is very nice, along with the money. And then the accelerators here in Montreal. So first it was, so we had, like, all these universities here has this incubating centers. For Concordia, it's District 3, we had a lot of mentorship there, but we didn't do the acceleration there. So we did the acceleration of McGill X1 Accelerator. The great thing about this was that despite all these mentorships and help in developing our ideas, getting into the market, how to have our sort out our business plan and everything, They also have a startup tour at the end of this acceleration. They brought our team into the United States. We got the chance to meet up with venture capitalists there, people who were really, yes, they were very interesting potential partners. We also went to Toronto. We went to DMZ, so that's also an incubator. I guess it's associated with Ryerson University. That was very, very also very helpful. We had to be a resident of Toronto to be able to go there, but that's why we couldn't. But that's a very, very great acceleration to be a part of as well. Then it was FunTech acceleration that led us to the propulsion, which is that it's a great program that gives us 2 years of services along with $15,000, which really helps the company. I really suggest all of that.
Yeah, it's perfect. I know all of them. Actually, I put it in the show notes for new immigrants to actually check it out later on.
Definitely.
Do you remember how you found your few first customers, and basically how did you market your business?
Yeah, so in terms of customers, because medical devices cannot go into market, let's say less than, I guess, 3 to 4 years at least, because they have to go into the regulatory process, right? So when you're developing a medical device, especially, first of all, you have to prove your idea, and then you have to prove that it's working, and then you have the prototype, and then you have these certifications you have to go for. For example, ISO certifications, depends on what you want. But if in terms of regulatory process, you have to be cleared by FDA if you want to go to the United States, or Health Canada if you want to stay in Canada. So those things will get a lot of time. But in terms of the customer, but we found our potential customers through Facebook, like the final customers, which will be patients with pelvic organ prolapse condition. So there's a group of moms, some groups of moms, and they are also they are very, very concerned with this condition, because when you have the vaginal delivery, there is the urinary incontinence that lots of people are suffering from, even when they are like, it's very sad because you are in a very young age, but your body will have this reaction, and you will have this stress incontinence, and it's very frustrating. So that's where we started our surveys to see if the need is really there for the patients. But our customers in the first step would be urogynecologists. Urogynecologists are the people who are dealing with this problem. So there's a gynecologist. So it's subsection of gynecology. So patients go to gynecologists. They will be referred to urogynecologists. And then what we did was that talking to urogynecologists also validate the need and bring them on board to be able to conduct the clinical trials afterwards. So we started to reach out to urogynecologists in the United States, Florida, Boston, New York, through LinkedIn, actually. Nice. Through emailing them, yeah. And then our clinical supervisor was here in Montreal, so he had the connections in Montreal. That's where we got connected with them as well.
Basically, you found your ideal customer on Facebook and LinkedIn by searching your ideal customers over there in those platforms.
Exactly.
I think that's a brilliant approach to marketing. Who is the most influential person in your life, Negin?
That's a very tough question. Because, when you live for some time, there are lots and lots of people who influence you. And it's like kind of a butterfly effect, right? Like even a single word can change your mind and change your life without you even noticing it, right? Like that's my perspective. And I want to thank everyone that even talks to me for a word, you know.
Right.
I guess that
Name three persons.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, I guess first of all, in terms of being a woman, I guess my mother really had the first influence on me, because my mother was a researcher who before she came to the social science. She was in dental hygiene. She was studying dental hygiene, and then she was working on, and then she went to social sciences and then got her degree and then started the working in that area. And she was a researcher, so she was working. She was a person who was working, and she didn't really rely on anybody but herself. And if there was a problem, she tried to figure it out on her own. And then I was a child, I didn't even understand this, like how important and how precious this is, and how others are not like her, you know. And I was like, that was, I think, the basic thing that in my mind, nobody were different. So there wasn't a difference between being a man or a woman, you know. I afterwards, like in the robotics, when we won the first place, one of my friends who was a boy came to me and said, "Oh, you're the first female winners that became the first place." And that was that really hit me in the face at that time. Yeah, and I was like, I didn't even think of us as a different people. So people would become first, and we were coming like placing first as well. So I didn't think that being a woman should be different than being a man, and should, you know, be bold in there. But then I realized that, okay, so people have this idea of being man or woman. So I guess my mother was the first person who had really that influence on me. I personally really admire Elon Musk as well, because, you know, he changed this idea in me that he was totally opposite of this quote that people say one person can't change the world, and he's literally changing the world all on his own, you know. And the third person I can say, Yuval Harari. So he's the writer of books like *Sapiens*. I guess that really changed my perspective to life in general as well, like how I'm seeing the life and everything. That was really influential as well.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Negin.
Thank you.
What books would you recommend Immipreneurs read to help them with their business or life?
I can think of 3 books, especially for like starting a business. I really, really wish that I've read them before starting the business, or to our first, you know, couple of months. First one is The Advantage. So I guess if they already started a company and they want to make it healthier, so The Advantage will tell you how to have a healthy organization, how to have the you know, the right you know, connection with others, with your co-founders, with your team.
Who's the author?
All this, let me check. You know, I'm not good at remembering the names.
Same here, actually.
Yeah.
Send me later on, and I'll put in the show notes.
Sure,
okay.
Sure. And then there is a very like thin book as well. It's it's not really thin though. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I mean, it's very you know, easy to read, because it's like a, you know, novel. So there is this The Hard Thing for I don't know why let me check. What was that? Hard Thing about Hard Thing.
Okay.
Hard Thing about the Hard Thing. So it's like a novel, like a story that shows you that not that easy. It's just like you say that it's you make your own business and then you go ahead, but actually there are very hard things that comes along the way. And then there's the 0 to 1, which is a very nice. That's very I really like that too. Yeah. And in terms of life, I don't know if you I've read this or not. It's also very an easy book to read, like for life. It's not related to business, but I recently finished a book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving the F word.
Exactly.
So I really enjoyed it in terms of not being the perfectionist and try to solve all the problems around you. Just be at ease and follow the problems and get along with what life brings to you. I guess it's a very good book for people who are stressed, who they are having hard times. I guess that's a nice book in general as well.
Thank you, Negin. Now let's move to the question section, which is this or that round. So this is a quick response around 10 questions.
Oh, wow.
Just one rule here. Try not to think about the answer too much. Are you ready?
No, I'm not. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Hire fast or fire fast?
Hire fast, I guess.
Montreal or Silicon Valley?
Silicon Valley, I guess.
Sell to one or sell to many?
Sell to one.
Instagram or LinkedIn?
I prefer LinkedIn.
Physical book or audiobook?
Both. Me physical.
Okay. Angel investor or bootstrapping?
Bootstrapping.
Podcast or YouTube?
Podcast.
Okay. Invest in real estate or digital currency?
Digital currency.
Yeah, you're fan of Elon Musk, definitely.
Yeah, I'm really fan of it.
Data science or AI?
AI.
Virtual event or physical event?
Definitely physical.
Remote working or in office working?
Remote working.
Okay, nice. You had kind of hesitation when I asked you about hire fast or fire fast. Why?
Yeah, because both are very challenging. Because I guess firing fast has like lots of consequences. Because you have a person who is involved in your culture, in your business, like he or she knows where you're going, even if she or he doesn't have the the motivation or the skills, because these things can be taught. But if someone is against your culture, like you'll bring people who you have to start over, teaching them from zero everything, and it will take lots of time. And then hiring fast also have some problems, but I guess, as I told you in my experience, especially as a startup, if you hire people faster, not as employees, maybe as an intern, you can have all sort of ideas. You can get lots of these perspectives from them, and then if they didn't fit your culture of the company, or if you're not satisfied, then you can figure out things afterwards.
Definitely. You chose remote working as well. Why is that?
By the way, I love working in office when you're all together, but I find this
so maybe you're fan of hybrid type of work.
Exactly.
Right?
I wanted to say that. I definitely in favor of hybrid working, I guess, because in office working has its own advantages. You meet people, and you really need this, like personally, mentally, you need to interact with people physically.
Definitely.
But on the other hand, this remote working also really helps to move things forward faster. like then you have to go to office, you have to go from one place to the other, which might be so far. I guess I lost you for some
Yeah,
second.
I think actually
Yeah,
the
maybe my
connection was
internet.
lost a little
Yeah.
bit. Can you repeat that part again?
Yes, sure. So I'm really in favor of working like in a hybrid environment, because in office you need to interact with people. You really mentally need that. So you have to interact with people. You need to see them. You have to get the energy from them and give them energy back. But this remote working has lots of advantage too, because in office working, you like have to work. You have to be in some place in the morning and then be in another place in the afternoon, and then this traveling might like you will lose lots of time.
Lots of
While you
time,
can have
energy, you know.
exactly. I guess one thing that pandemic taught us was this, that everything can be done
Yeah,
remotely as well. So I guess yeah, the like if you can manage to have to work like I don't know 3 days working in office and then 2 days remotely, or just leave it to your employees or leave it to your colleagues to decide when they want to work remotely or when they want to come to office, that would be the best, I guess.
perfect. I agree with you as well. Okay, great. Let's move on to the $10,000 question. So if I was to give you $10,000 and you had to spend over the next few days on a single thing to grow your business, what would you spend it on and how would you measure success?
I would pair it up with a grant to multiply the money and then use that multiplied money to pay my like not the employees but my team to have the inspiration to go forward.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. If you were to write a book about yourself, how would you name it?
Oh my god. You are never right.
Why is that?
Because I guess what really drive me through my life was learning to be flexible. I don't think that I am like the ideal of what I want to be, but like at all. I'm not there yet, but I guess I like I learned not to stick with one idea that I have, and there's always something against my opinion, and there is the truth, some truth in all the opinions, and it's when you're very strictly think that what you think is true, that's what prevents you from progressing, I believe. When you're not really flexible to change your idea, or you see change as a weakness, then you will not grow. Personally, I have this belief that if you're not willing to take risks, if you're not willing to change your idea, change your mind about things, that then you can't really grow. That's why I chose that.
I like that. I'll definitely buy your book.
Thank you so much. I have really I have some thoughts in it.
You can actually list it on your website and sell it in advance.
Good to know. I'm very glad.
Yeah. If you had a magic stick, which are the 3 things you would change in the world?
Oh, that's a tough question. Prejudice, I think.
Okay.
That's definitely the first one, because everything is, I guess, all this like conflicts are coming from that, and everything, like lots of things will be will be solved if we solve that.
So that was one first.
Yeah, that was one, the first one. So I would change I want to change lots of things. Because that's not, yeah. That's a cliche that you want to, end the wars. You wanna deploy peace, but that's I guess they're all cliches. But definitely, I'm in favor of spreading the peace around the world. So if I could do that, that would definitely be my the second option, to spread the peace as much as possible. And then the third one would be I guess I would spread, like, if I could increase the toleration in people and make the, like, if because I would increase the free thinkers. So I would do something that all the people would appreciate themselves for what they think, and then they know that they can have their opinion without being judged, and then like not being judged, because you are free to judge people and be judged, but get along with it. The tolerance. I guess I would increase the tolerance.
Amen.
Yeah.
Let's finish off by shifting the focus to someone else who deserves it. So that is a mega Immipreneurs, and mega Immipreneurs is basically a very successful immigrant entrepreneur. So who is a mega Immipreneur that you would like to give a shout out to, what we can learn from them, and how we can find them?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I guess most of my colleagues are immigrants who came to Canada and started their own business, many of them. And I really appreciate them.
One?
Yeah. Sorry, I forced you to answer the question. So I guess the first person that comes into my mind is Azadeh. So she's also from Iran. She's working on a smartwatch. I really admire her consistency and perseverance. So her company is called Vital Tracer.
I interviewed her recently, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
I really admire her as well. Thank you so much. And what final thoughts do you have to help motivate immigrant entrepreneurs to get started or take their business to the next level?
Yeah, actually, I have lots of opinions on this. So, although, like, I mean, as I said, Canada in like overall is a very welcoming environment. At least in my experience, it was like that. But you really need to understand the language, the terms, how you want to present yourself, right? So working on the language part is very important. How to pitch your idea, how to deliver what you have in your mind is also very important. So working on those skills are very, very important. But besides this, I guess one thing that prevents entrepreneurs, especially the immigrants, from going forward is the fear. So they think, usually the people that there are lots of people that I'm talking to who wants to go into entrepreneurship environment, but they think that, okay, let me find this first. Let me learn this first. Let me grow my expertise first, and then I'll do that, This is, I guess, this is coming from this fear of starting or coming out of the comfort zone. You don't need to know everything to start a business. That's the idea. And then you will have people who will help you, right? So I guess if you don't fear to start, that's the biggest step. And also the spirit. the entrepreneurial spirit is the most important one. You have to know that you have to sacrifice. You have to know that you have to give up. You have to put this as your priority, right? And then you have to be able to take initiative. And it's like I said, it's not a game; it's a business. And then the investors are not looking if you are a good technical expert. They look into how you can deliver this to the market. So you have to be confident and have confidence, because when you have an idea and it's validated, then it's worth pursuing. So when you're not confident when talking about it, it just gives them this idea that you cannot drive that. So I guess these are the most important things that especially immigrants can think of.
Thank you so much.
And work on, yeah.
Where can our listeners connect with you online?
Yeah, sure. So you can reach me on my LinkedIn and also my email, definitely. I guess that's
okay. Okay, we will actually add your email address to the show notes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Negin,
thank you so much for coming and inspiring all the immigrant entrepreneurs listening. I'm so honored to share your story.
Thank you so much. It's my honor. Thank you so much.
I wish you all the best of success and hope to stay connected.
Thank you very much. Same here. It was my honor being on your show. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Immipreneur Show with me, Mo Mojahed. Come back next week to hear more steps and missteps successful Immipreneurs took on path to success. I'd like to invite you to check out our website at immip.net, that's immip.net, and join the community of immigrant entrepreneurs and download an action plan that we put together for you, as well as the show notes. That's immip.net/show. And if you have any questions, send me an email to mo@immip.net and I may just answer in a future episode. And don't forget to share this episode with people that you love, that you care about, that you're leading, that inspire you. So God bless you all and have a great day.